anniversary of JTV is a gentleman who has been also coincidentally here in Jackson 24 years, the president of Jackson College, Dr. Dan Phelan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Bart. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
24 years for both of us. 24 years.
24 years.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe it. What a difference you have made to this community and to Jackson College. We're celebrating with drum rolls and balloons, but I did the research. Since you've been here, there have been over 60 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings at Jackson College.
Really? I didn't count.
Yeah.
But I'll take your word for it.
That's amazing.
It's been a lot. Well, thank you for the kind words. And, you know, I reflect back as I was sitting here and listening more about the celebration. I was thinking when I came to the community, when you were starting as well on the show, you were my orientation to the community. I was thinking to myself, you know, this is really cool. And I was able to see the faces of leaders and people in our community and just everyday people that you brought on the show, people that I was going to be interacting with from time to time. So it was the perfect orientation. And I would say to any employer out there who's thinking about bringing new employees into the community, watch your show. You'll find out what's going on in Jackson. You'll find out who the movers and shakers are. And you'll find out about good things that make Jackson such a phenomenal place that it is, a great place to live and work and play.
Well, thanks so much. We actually aired our very first program 24 years ago today, was the Jackson Show at Jaxpo. And I found a photo of the Jackson, at the time, Jackson Community College booth at Jaxpo 24 years ago.
There you go.
So this is what you had.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Had the old logo there as
Yeah.
well. Getting the word out about your community college.
And then while I was rooting around in the archives, I found a picture of you. You were a guest on this show's first anniversary show.
Yes.
And
yeah, that should leave the archives and find its way to the circular file. That's a pretty snappy tie that you've got there too.
oh, thanks.
Yeah,
you were pretty
nice,
pretty
pretty
snazzy too with that that mustache. But you know, you don't realize how much things change.
24 years. That's a long time. A long time.
Yeah.
You've done so much for the community in that period of time.
Well, you
How
too.
many guests have you had? Oh, in 24 years, how many?
Between the morning show and this show, over 40,000.
40,000.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious, that's amazing.
One of the things we're very happy about and proud of is the partnership that we have
Of
with
course,
JC.
yes.
And it's been ongoing for all these 24 years.
Great partnership.
Thanks so much for that.
Yes, yeah, you bet. It's just been a wonderful association, and you and the whole team here are just like a fountain of positivity in a world that is increasingly divided and challenged and struggling for post-COVID, all of that going on. Having positivity in every day is so important to just mental health, the way that our community lives and works and has its being, and positivity is a big part of that. It's so easy to believe the negative. You ever notice that? It's just so easy to do that and get into this downward negative spiral that everything is terrible. I had a conversation with my administration today, and we talked about making sure that you spend one moment today thanking a colleague for the good work that they're doing. Just find it, well it up within yourself to come and say, I really appreciate you, and here's why. You make a difference for me, you help the institution, whatever the case might be. And I also encourage each one of them that when they go to bed tonight and they put their head down at the pillow, or if they're sitting at the dinner table with family, if families are still doing that they talk about one good thing. I mean, in the course of a whole day, there's so much that can come at you, but certainly every person should be able to find one good thing that happened in the day and celebrate that. And your kids, your grandkids, nieces, nephews, spouses, partners, they will be able to hear the good news of your day rather than just the negativity. Because if you're a spouse, a partner, a child, and all you get's the negative from your day, I mean, what are you pouring into your children, or your spouse or partner? And so I think it's important that we continue to be fonts of positivity. And so we have an organization like yours, Bart, here that is just so positive, bringing the good news and the good people forward. When I first came to Jackson in 2001, there was a general malaise over the community. And I remember even going through an interview on the stage in Bauman Theater. And I remember when there was a Q&A portion, part of the interview, someone loudly shouted, "Why on earth would you want to come to Jackson, Michigan?" And that was kind of the mindset there. That kind of negativity was very pervasive. And it's programs like you have, Bart, the whole JTV, your effort, and so many other people in our community that are pushing that negativity back to say, this is our home, gosh darn it, and we care about it, and we love this place, and people are nice, and when you extend that kind of positivity, that kindness to another, it pays itself forward. It pushes forward to the next person, but you got to start somewhere. And you and this show and the guests that you bring forward are a font of that happening every day. So I just encourage all of your listeners today and to thank you too for the good and positive news you put into the minds and hearts of all of us here in Jackson County. The impact that it has on me personally, on our college professionally. I have great gratitude for this 24 years that you're celebrating today and this week and this month. Hell, I would go all week long if you wanted to, but it is all month long for that matter. But it is just a phenomenal resource that we have in the community, not only for information sharing, but just positivity. And we need a positive focus and kindness, just basic kindness to each other now more than ever before. And that's an individual responsibility, but it's also a societal responsibility. And we've got to realize the power and the strength of just the one, the me, to be able to say, I've got a responsibility to be positive. And so carrying your mindset each day that what is the one good thing that's happened today, and really center on that and share with somebody else that you just appreciate that they're here. Like this conversation, we're appreciating each other and grateful, truly grateful for the contributions of another person. And if we remember to do that every day, then there's no stop in Jackson, Michigan, as far as I can tell.
I agree.
This will continue to grow and be more amazing still.
Well, thanks so much for those words. And yeah, we really are. We don't have to look at the world around us. It's all right here. This is what's important.
Sure.
Our neighbors, our friends, this is what matters. And
Sure.
you know, when you were asked that question, why would you come to Jackson, Michigan? It scares people from considering coming here. But what you've done, invested and really devoted your life now to Jackson. So many others have done as well. Look at
Sure.
the tenure of service all throughout our community and in business and in education. People they're liking Jackson, and they're staying and investing here. And you don't see, we don't realize what it's like elsewhere, but you don't see that anywhere else.
Right. I just saw a tremendous opportunity I was actually stunned by that question because I saw so much opportunity, so much potential, and I still do. And I've been excited ever since, and I've had the great occasion to get to know you and call you friend and be able to work together. And so many others, as you mentioned, in our community, from government to the county government, city government, state government. I mean, just all of the businesses and industries that we associate with, just some really amazing people who are contributing. And I just think it's important to recognize that some bad things are going to happen, but we don't have to dwell on it. You know, we can focus on the positivity and the light that's happening in the world and the good work that we're doing and the importance of it every day.
And yeah, and this week there's some really cool things happening at Jackson College, including tonight. We've got college night and a concert. Absolutely,
and then we've got Spooktacular coming up on the 25th at 5:30. I hope the community turns out. Of course, in fact, I walked out of the Health Laboratory Center today, and it's all festooned. Many of our employees are in there dressing it up. But that particular building will be looking like Hogwarts, you know, kind of the Harry Potter theme. So if you like Harry Potter, come on out to that event. So that's always a great time. It's a safe place to bring children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, kids walking on the street. Just bring them out to Jackson College. They'll get their bags full of all kinds of candy. They'll actually walk through many of our buildings and get a sense of what their community college looks like and ask questions of our staff while they're there. But have a great time as well. It's something that we really enjoy doing, that and the Easter egg hunt that we have in the springtime too. Just two great community events where we celebrate kids and have them come out and fill them full of sugar.
Yeah, and it's really full of sugar. I can't believe how much, there's more than 30 stations where you can pick up candy along the way. So.
Yes, yeah.
Also, I wanted to ask you about the restoring the Jackson College millage, which is on
Yes.
the ballot
Yes,
2 weeks from today.
exactly so.
Well, we've got people voting already, so
Yeah, that's right.
they need to know about this.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've actually had the community college here for a number of years. It was actually the district was established. The college district was established in 1962, and it was actually 3 millages later where the citizens of Jackson County passed a millage to actually create 1.33 mills, the charter millage, to help operate the college. And over that period of time, you know, we operated on that for a while. And then the Headley Amendment was introduced in the state legislature, and that provides for a throttling back or a governing of the rate of inflation with regard to tax revenues coming to a public body like Jackson College. So over the years, it's gone down from 1.33 mils to 1.13 mils. And so what we're asking voters on November 5th is to we're not asking for an increase. We're asking for restoration to what we were back in 1964 when we had that original charter millage passed. So that will take us from 1.13 mils back up to our original authorization of 1.33 mils. The net effect on that, just for easy math, if you have a $100,000 home with a 50% valuation, the cost of restoring us back to 1964 will be $9.87. So the average home in Jackson County, I think, is about $200. So we're looking about $19.74 if I do the math right. So for 2 or 3 Big B's, a year, you will be able to provide revenues for Jackson College. The funds will be used exclusively for jobs, job training, job retraining, capacity building, technical equipment. A lot of the equipment that we're using for these campus-based programs are pretty expensive. We are looking to replace a lot of our vocational technical equipment on our campus-based programs. You've got this new thing called AI that we're all trying to figure out what the costs are associated with that. Medical equipment, mannequins and dental chairs, and all the equipment that comes to look at manufacturing 4.0. Looking at advanced manufacturing practices and the equipment that goes with that. So we're really looking and making sure that our instructional spaces, our instructional equipment, and the programs that support career-based training, vocational-based training, rather, is really current. And we're really focusing, as I follow the direction of our Board of Trustees, is about making sure that Jackson County is job ready, by virtue of having the training and retraining skills from Jackson College. We'll also provide opportunities for our students to be able to go out and get internships and externships with various employers, so making sure that they're ready for employment in Jackson County. So this is about Jackson College focusing on Jackson County employers, providing Jackson County employers with the jobs, with the skills and abilities that those students need to have. It also will help us get some of those basic skills in that you and I learned about how do you get a job, how do you keep a job. Some of the fundamentals that you and I got at home, they're not always getting. And so we want to make sure that in addition to the skills-based elements, we're also getting those durable skills. So, how do I interview for the job? How do I show up for work? How do I engage with my supervisor? Those kinds of things. So this is a millage that is about restoration only, not an increase. It's taken us back to 1964 and will cost $9.87 per $100,000 of evaluation per year. And we're committed to getting the work done, and that's the entirety of how it's going to be used. Overall, over the course of a year, it will generate about $1.2 million for our institution. But when I look at something like a Fanuc robot, for example, that we're wanting to train people on, we're talking $750,000, $800,000 for just one piece of equipment, let alone lathes and screw machines and newer technology related to health occupations and dentistry and just technology generally. As you think about IT and about cyber and all those things, training people, that requires an investment. So we're asking to ask the people of Jackson County to consider again that which they did in 1964 and restoring us back to that point so that we can make sure that the people, young and old, have the skills, knowledge, and abilities to be successful in jobs in our community.
Yeah, and if you look into it, there's nearly 40 community colleges in the state of Michigan. Jackson is the only community college that's operating at its original or less than its original
Exactly right.
charter millage.
Yeah. Well, there are really two big points there, Bart. You raise a really good point. One is that we are the only one that's still living on our declining original charter millage from 1964. The rest have passed 2, 3, 4, 5, in one case 6 different additive millages over time. The other thing is that our tax base is pretty low. So, you know, 1 mill is not the same the world round. So 1 mill in Jackson County is far different than, say, Berrien County, or different than that might be in Oakland County or Muskegon County. I mean, very, very different. And so the amount of revenue that comes in is much more if I'm in Macomb, for example, or Detroit, for example. So it generates about 13% of our total revenue for the institution. So we're an institution that survives heavily on student tuition, and we also survive on state aid to a lesser degree, and the least support that we get financially is through our local millage.
Well, I think you've done a great job explaining it, because I think for a lot of people, really a lot of questions about, well, how does the college pay for itself?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a variety of ways. And you, as an organization, have been very creative in getting some grant funding for some
Sure.
things like blockchain technology.
Sure.
And also some great partnerships with the federal government for
Sure.
things like the astronomical observatory.
Exactly right. And to be honest with your viewers, you know, we've had to take on some debt too. Our board has been very reluctant to do that, but we've got some debt, more than we would like to have, but we're also wanting to make sure that we have a lot of currency with regard to what students are looking for, what employers are looking for. But I do agree with you that we have done the best we can with resources, and we're still writing grants. We've got a great grant writing team. Cheryl Tarrant, for example, in our foundation office, is doing phenomenal work, helping us get better grants. Our work with Congress, you know, we're going after everything we can, but they're smaller amounts, and they have to be very specifically targeted. And some of the areas where we really need some support, there's just not grant funding available. So that's why we're asking the citizens of the county to think favorably upon the college and help us get back to serving our community even better than we're doing now.
All right, well, great to see you, Dan. Thanks for being here.
Great pleasure. Thanks for having me on today.
As we celebrate JTV's 24th anniversary, Jackson College president, who's been at JC all these 24 years, Dr. Dan Phelan. We've got some more highlights.